This coming Sunday, we bring our Emerge preaching series to an end. Over the past 3 weeks, Esteban, David and Jock have helped us dive into the book of Daniel and have extracted 3 enduring principles from the Babylonian exile that speak to us as a church in the 21st century as we explore what it means to be a church in a very different cultural setting. This coming Sunday, we will be having a live worship service starting at our usual time at 9 o'clock that will include a panel discussion with Jock, Richard and I. We will be discussing some of these principles that have come out and how they can apply to us as Southside. We'd love you to be part of that. You can access our worship service as usual through live stream, or you may want to actually be part of the conversation and you'll be able to access that through a Facebook Live or through Zoom. If you're interested in that, I will be sending out an email on Friday that will contain details of how you can access one or either of those opportunities. And then don't forget, this coming Wednesday evening, we will be having another Digging Deeper. There is a Zoom invitation that will be in that email, and you're invited to come along and continue to question, to comment, to discuss what we've been talking about in our Emerge series. As we talk about worship, the church council, the ministry team, and the worship ministry area have been having discussions about what it would mean for us to resume in-person worship. With the lifting of restrictions, we have the opportunity to start to think what worship could look like coming back together again. But what we need to be very much aware of is that when we come back for worship, it will not be anything like we were experiencing prior to the lockdown. Government restrictions mean that we won't be able to have the same number of people in our buildings, that we will not be able to sing, that there will be no physical contact, that we will not be able to have food afterwards. Some of the implications means that we might not be able to worship at the same time, on the same day, or in the same buildings that we did prior to the lockdown. But coming back together for worship does give us that opportunity to gather together with other people, to declare the praises of God, to exalt Him and to acknowledge His grace and love and greatness. And that is what God's people have been called to do throughout the generations. We're going to continue this conversation over the next coming weeks, and we again would love you to be part of it. So in the email that is coming out on Friday, there is a link to a short survey. Please just take the time to answer those 5 questions in the coming week and let us know what you were thinking about resuming face-to-face worship. With the easing of restrictions by the government, gives us an opportunity to start to meet together for some of our groups and start to be able to serve again in the life of our church. I know that many of us are looking forward to that. But throughout the whole time of this pandemic, my overriding message to you has been that we are concerned about the spiritual, relational, emotional and physical health of each one of you. Please continue to think about that. The government has identified a group of people who are known as vulnerable people. If you're in one of those categories, please think long and hard about the government warnings for you to stay socially isolated. We don't want you to feel excluded, and we'll do everything we possibly can to make sure that you are able to be involved in the life of our church, but from a distance. But if you do want to start being involved in the life of our groups and activities, and you think that it is safe for you to do, we will be doing everything that we can to help you remain healthy. If you're a volunteer worker, there will be a risk assessment that we will need to be doing to make sure that it is safe for you to be volunteering in the life of our church. If you're a member of one of our activities, there are risk assessments and safety plans that we are putting in place for every individual to make sure that we are limiting all of the risks that come about because of this pandemic. Please continue to be safe. Please continue to be engaged. Please continue to work as we have been doing for so many months now to eliminate this virus from Queensland, from Australia, from the whole of our world. The final thing that I want to share with you is just a sense that I'm getting from the life of our congregation. We came together as one congregation in January this year, and we started to work together until March, when we had to be put into isolation. And we've now had 3 months of isolation. But what I'm getting as I connect with people from across our congregation, across our 4 communities, is that there is a real sense of strength, of vitality, of health, of optimism that we are sharing together. We are caring deeply for each other, and we are pastorally connecting. People are growing in their faith. We are worshipping together even though we are dispersed. We are able to continue to meet as a church council, as some of our ministry areas, and our giving is keeping up, and we're not really suffering financially. Thank you for all that it is that you are doing and bringing our congregation together. Thank you that you are living out your faith and your discipleship to Jesus Christ. Thank you that together we are giving testimony to the validity and the life of God's church here as Southside Uniting Church. I look forward to when we're able to be together more intentionally and to be able to continue to forge a new identity as God's church here. Until that happens, blessings on you all.